What's going on, you guys? Welcome to our. It says first, but I know we've done boxes of this before, but that was in the old system. So, one Dominaria draft booster box number one, even though it's probably more along the lines of like number four, number five. But either way, we are about to get into it. Let me go ahead and get you guys tagged up in here. Almost there. All right, there you guys go. Y'all have been tagged. I'm going to give y'all about 45 seconds to hop in here. Then we're gonna get you hooked up with your spots and see what we can pull out of this bad boy. I'm pretty excited for it. You know, I'm kind of hoping that we pull us Fairy and Mox Amber, or I mean Helm of the Host foils. Honestly, I'd much rather have foils of all those. We'll see. All right, y'all, let's get it. We got all six of your names in here. AmberGlennSkater at gmail.com. I know you're a local. If you actually just search for Guild of the Iron Line on Facebook, answer the membership questions, we'll get you in here. Or create an actual account, and that's not just an email, and we'll be able to like get you all tagged up whenever we do breaks. All right, we got us a 9. Get it. Boom. All right, Mr. Peter Casile up top and Nick Tongue down bottom. Let's go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to put y'all back over, grab the verification code. All right. There you guys go. Let's go ahead and get this box opened up. We're gonna get all these mixed up, hand out 6 to everybody. And y'all remember these all like white packs? I say white, but I mean, if we're being real, Dominaria is more like a cream color almost. But nonetheless, we're gonna get these all mixed up, hand it out, pull some bangers. Even the Karn would be Scion of Urza would be pretty solid to pull still too. So, what's up, Nick? What up? What up? What up? What up? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Well, let me if I can fix that. It does the it's got auto exposure on, so it gets really really flashy and bright. I don't know why it does that. Like you would think it being technology, it would be a lot better, and it wouldn't be doing something like that. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Like, why is there an option for it to just be like epilepsy triggering? I don't get it. But that's just me. And hey, what up, man? What up, what up? All right, so we are ready to rock and roll, you guys. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to crack some packs. Good luck to everybody. May you all pull some Iron Line Fire today, and we have us a good old time. Stack 1 is going over to Mr. Peter Casile. It's that black background. Hey, maybe. I don't know. I try to not bring color into this. Wow. What's crazy, y'all, is I know a lot of you probably think it's funny, but this is actually the first set that I started playing Magic with. As you see, it's 2018. Power Stone Shards I thought was always a super fun card to play with. Navigator's Compass was a really good draft card. We got a Goblin Barrage, Memorial to Glory, Quend Pride of Femeref, into a Siege Gang Commander. We got a swamp and a soldier token. Oh, those soldier token. Those soldier token. There's Dang it, Andy, you messed me up now. I'm joking, but no, there's I think it's soldier tokens, but they're like the stained glass tokens. Those are actually, last I seen, they were like $5 a piece, and it was just a token. We got a Philid Soothsayer, Icy Manipulator wasn't bad. Song of Freylis into a Torgar Famine Incarnate. Syncopate, man. Those were the days. I forget about that rat colonies. You can have as many of those as you want. Gaia's Blessing, in case someone tried to mill you out and they milled Gaia's Blessing, it shuffled your graveyard back in your library. Knight of Malice was solid. Another Quide. We got a Black Blade Reforged. I don't know why, but I feel like I remember this being a mythic. I feel like I remember that. Adamant Will. I loved that stained glass look. Voltaic Servant at the beginning of your end step. Untapped target artifact was really good. Blink of an Eye was a really good card. Mono blue tempo. We got an Untamed Kavu, another Knight of Malice, Valda, Keeper of the Flame, into a Mishra's Self-Replicator. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Mishra's Self-Replicator. Basically, you just sit there and just keep making it like a bunch of those guys. And then when you have 2 of them, you can pay 2 and make 2 more, so on and so forth. The more you have, the more you can make. Skirk Prospector was a pretty solid one for mono red. Seismic Shift was really fun in draft. A lot of people did not like that. We've got a Thorn Elemental Damping Sphere. That's a pretty solid one. Arvad the Cursed. Karn Scion of Urza. There we go. Mythic Rare Planeswalker, baby. This became a pretty solid piece. At first, it was the more expensive card, and Teferi was the low one. And out of nowhere, they both like swapped places. Teferi became the expensive card. Karn was the cheap one. Like people used to try and trade. People were trading like 2 Teferis for 1 Karn, and then like a couple months later, 2 Teferis were like 4 Karns. Fervent Strike was a good one. Man, this is just bringing me back. Another Blink of an Eye. We got a Skizik, Settle the Score, Rona, Disciple of Gix, into an Urza's Ruinous Blast. That was a pretty cool card for the Legendary Matters deck. Exile all non-permanents that aren't legendary. So you pretty much just messed everything up. It was a good old time back in them Dominaria days. It was fun. So many different unique decks out there. And look at all this colorless stuff over here. Not a bad stack there, Peter. Not bad at all. Going over to stack 2 is going over to Mr. Nick Tongue. Let's get it, Nick. Nick. Look the Divine. I'm gonna come across a Llanowar Elf. We got a Time of Ice, Zalfir and Void. Wizard's Retort was also a really solid one. We got an Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. Back 2. You know what? Grow from Ashes? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Grow from Ashes was actually played, for the kicker on it to grab extra lands. We got a Sanctum Spirit. Joyrus Familiar still played. Time of Ice, and then we got an Evra, uh, Halcyon Witness, which you got a ton of these. But if you knew how to play with it, you could have some fun. There we go. I'm like, where's the uncommons? Fight with Fire, Sentinel the Pearl Trident, Garner the Blood Flame into a Gilded Lotus, add 3 mana of any one color. That was a it was a pretty good one if you were playing like a single color deck in standard at the time. It was a good one. It was fun. You probably only ran 1, maybe 2, just because it's still a 5-drop. In draft, it was really good for single color decks because you could run essentially you can run a little bit less lands because of those mana rocks. Alright, Wizard's Lightning. Gotta love the burn spells. Urza's Tome. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive. Really good one. There we go. And we got us a land. Isolated Chapel. We call these the check lands. When it comes out untapped if you control either a basic, or not basic, unless you control a plains or a swamp. It comes out untapped. But if you don't control a plains or a swamp, it comes in tapped. So it can hurt you or it can help you. Sword. Y'all remember mono white weenies? There we go. Dauntless Bodyguard was one of those. Nature Spiral was a pretty good one. Not for mono white. We got an Arvad the Cursed into a Cabal Stronghold. I think these are actually still a few bucks a piece, if I remember correctly. Alright, last pack for your first stack here, Nick. We got a Memorial to War. Whoa. Lingering Phantom. Adelies the Cinderwind, which is actually a pretty solid card. And then we got a Goblin Chain Whirler. Alright, that's also a pretty good card. You still see it played nowadays. It's because, wow, why did I put the Isolated Chapel right here? It can come out, and especially if you're playing against like a token deck, it can knock out quite a bit of tokens. At least like all the 1/1s and stuff that are out there. That wasn't a bad stack. Like, I think those were definitely like the cards of the stack for you, Nick. But other than that, not bad. Going over to stack 3. What? It's not. Hold on. Alright, there we go. Like, why is it trying to give me a link? Alright, I'm assuming that because your email address is amberglennskater@gmail.com that your more than likely name is just Amber Glenn. So, we're just going to go with Amber for now. There we go. Finally, Atlanta, where else? Mesa Unicorn. God, when Core 19 came out after this, and Resplendent Angel was the thing, and you got Triumph of Gerard, I used to be doing work with this unicorn. I made so many people scoop when that once, like, on turn 3 before, like, once I played Resplendent Angel on turn 3 and I had that out, like, ready to attack, like, people weren't ready. They were like, what? Where did that come from? Orcish Vandal, Song of Freyalise was a really good one. Knight of Grace was also really good because it gets +1/+0 as long as any player controls a black permanent. And it's got hexproof from black. Lyra Dawnbringer, y'all. Wow. Let's go. Mythic Rare Angel, the Protector of Teferi. Y'all played standard back in these days, then you know what I mean. You had what was it, like Bant Nexus, Azorius Nexus, Esper Nexus. Lyra was always there to protect Teferi. Killer card, really solid, really good card. Opera Runner's a good one. Alright, we got another Guy's Blessing. Fire Fist Adept. Merfolk Trickster was a solid one too. Man, that was a fun one. Traxos. It enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. When you cast a historic spell, untap him. But he's a 7/7 with trample for 4. That means if you play it right on turn 5, you can shoot. Sometimes turn 3, you can be attacking for 7 with trample, which is wild. But it is also legendary, so got to keep that in mind. Alright, we got a Goblin War Chief, Memorial to War, Adelies the Cinderwind, and how about that Helm of the Host? Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Such a good card. Super underestimated at the time of release. Nowadays, this card is smacking in Commander. So there we go on that. Helm of the Host. We're going to go ahead and top load it because, you know, we've kind of evolved with breaking a little bit. Some cards that are, you know, worth a little something like 15 plus we top load for you. So not a bad hit there. We just need Big Teferi and Mox Amber. What's funny, y'all, is Mox Ambers. I actually used to have like 10, 15 of them just because when this set first came out, nobody used them. They were, you got one in almost every booster box. You know what I'm saying? And they were like $5 a piece at most. And then out of nowhere, they're just like, hey, guess what? Bam! Now they're $40. And of course, I had sold, I think, all but like 2 of them like 3 years ago. 2 years ago, maybe. Triumphant Gerard is the card I was talking about earlier. It's a 2-drop. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control with the greatest power. Target creature you control with the greatest power gains flying, first strike, and lifelink until end of turn. Put that on that Mesa Unicorn. Bam. But you had to make sure, his Mesa Unicorn on turn 2, Triumph of Gerard on turn 3, and then turn 4 was when you played Resplendent Angel. Varric's Blade Wing was a solid one. It was very underestimated back in the day when it first came out too. But it's super good. Kick it. You pay the kicker cost, so essentially you pay 7, you get 2 4/4 dragons. Like, wasn't bad. Alright, we got the Flame of Keld on Sarah's Wings, Spore Crown Thalid, and then we got a Naven, Dean of Iteration. Alright, The Eldest Reborn, my wife's favorite saga. She loves this one. We got aboard the Weatherlight, Shauna Sisay's Legacy, which is also a pretty solid card. And then we got another Gilded Lotus, you guys. That's Gilded Lotus number 2. Pretty much from here, I've kind of given you guys like that recap of, you know, what was and was not good back in the day. You know, so it's pretty cool. That was a pretty solid stack there for you, Amber Glenn. Not bad. Should have made your money back on that. All right, stack 4. Pricing is up on TCG Player for what? All right, stack 4 is going over to Andy. Alright, now I can just kind of go through this stuff. We got a Lingering Phantom, Howling Golem, Urgoros, the empty one, into a Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Gotta love you some Shalai. Gave you and all your other creatures protection. You can pay 6, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Really, really good card. I know because I played mono white angels. Yeah, but so the thing is, with pricing, before something is fully released, that pricing more than likely, like 90% of the time, will not stay the same. So you just gotta be careful on that, which is why another reason why we don't buy cards until 2 weeks after its full release is because the market's still got to do its settling and all that fun stuff. Because a card right now could be 50 bucks on TCG Player, and then 2 weeks after release, it can be 50 cents. You know, or probably wouldn't drop that drastically, but it would probably still go. It could still go down to like 5-10 bucks. You know. We got a Diligent Excavator, the Flame of Keld, Halar, the Fire Fletcher, into a haphazard bombardment. Haphazard. That's the word I was trying to say. Haphazard bombardment. Another Damping Spear, Orcish Vandal, Slinvada the Risen Deep, and a Precognition Field with a Cloud Raider Sphinx foil. You look at the top card of your library. At any time, you may cast the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery, you can pay 3 and exile the top card of your library. You know, so that you can still continue looking at the top card of your library that's possibly castable. Alright, we got a Champion of the Flame, Board the Weatherlight, Wrath Capuchin ships Mage into a Rite of Belzenlock. Creating that 6/6 demon's actually pretty cool, but, you know, not a lot of people played that. Not saying it's not played currently, because I'm sure there's decks out there that still run it. You know, as far as like Commander. Alright, we got a Memorial to Folly, which I believe turn target creature card from your graveyard to hand. Memorial to Folly was used in Golgaria, if I remember correctly. Run the Lonely King's actually a pretty solid one. And then we got a second Goblin Chain Whirler. Goblin Chain Whirler is solid. Cognition Field was fun. Shalai is a pretty solid one. I wouldn't say, you know, made your money back, but still got some good cards there. Stack 5 is going over to Mr. James Warner. Let's get it, James. Seal Away. That was a good one. That was a good one. Cast Down. Tatiova Benthic Druid was pretty solid. And then we got a Dreadshade. Flame of Keld foil. Dreadshade became really good. That's not at one point because it's a 3-drop. You play when the mono black decks came out, and you pretty much like top decked a land and you played your land for turn. You just sit there and you're like, all right, pump them up 7 times, make them a 10/10. However, he shouldn't have trample, so like it was really only good if your opponent had something big and wanted to protect their life points. Alright, Joyver's Familiar, In Bolus's Clutches, Halar the Fire Fletcher, and then we got an Oath of Teferi. Look at that token. That is sweet. Oh, but yeah, I believe you can use loyalty abilities, so Planeswalker abilities twice. You may activate the loyalty abilities of Planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than only once, which is wild. Especially with certain Planeswalkers. Got a Spore Crown Thalid, Amaranthine Wall, Baird, Steward of Argive into a 4-Bearer's Blade. Come on, Big Teferi. Big Teferi, let's go. Alright, we got a Shield of the Realm, Wild Onslaught, Baird, Steward of Argive, into the Mirari Conjecture. Mirari Conjecture was super cool because its last ability allows you to copy an instant or sorcery spells that you cast. So you can do it double. So I used to do double Banefires with that. I'd be like, alright, well I'll do Banefire for 10 on chapter 3 of Mirari Conjecture, which in reality did it for 20. But it being above 6, it couldn't be countered, so made it pretty fun and pretty strong. We got to cast down Fungal Plots, Urgoros, the Empty One, into a Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, another Legendary Matters card. Return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Which is just, that's a pretty wild card. Alright, James, last one for you. Alright, we got an Urza's Tome, Final Parting, Spore Swarm into a Tashar Ancestors Apostle, which you got 2 of them in here. 1 foil and 1 non-foil, so that's pretty cool. That is it for you there, James. And last stack of the day, going over to Mr. Nick Tongue. All right, Nick, let's get it. Alright, we got a Warcry Phoenix, Triumph of Gerard, Tiana Ship's Caretaker, into a Sylvan Awakening. You know, that might actually be worth a few bucks. You know, you sit there, you turn all your lands into creatures and attack. They got Reach, Indestructible, and Haste. Pretty good card. Pretty good. Alright, we got a Fungal Plots, Memorial to Genius, Sage of Latnam, and then we got a Squee the Immortal. You can cast him from everywhere. You may cast Squee the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. Pretty solid. He's a problem. It's, yeah. Alright, we got a Wild Onslaught, Sentinel of the Pearl Trident, Slimefoot the Stowaway, into the Antiquities War. I love this. Artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. Pretty good. And it's only a 4-drop. That was one of the cards I was playing when I was playing blue-black artifacts. And that was one of the cards I definitely played in there. We got an Icy Manipulator, Weight of Memory, Whispering Blood Liturgist. And how about that Teferi, Hero of Dominaria? There we go. That's what I'm talking about for you, Nick. And it's not the list one. This is probably my second favorite Planeswalker, my first being Little Teferi. But that's because I like to do what I want when I want in games. And he allows me to do that. As long as he's on my side of the field, of course. But Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, you can just do like the Teferi Tuck, where you put it into your library, throw it from top. Once you get his emblem, that way when you draw cards, you just start exiling permanents. And yeah, it gets wild. Memorial to Folly, Elfame Druid, Baird, Steward of Argive. Then we got a Thran, Temporal Gateway. Pay 4 and tap. You may put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Artifact, legendaries, and sagas are historic. You can pay 4, tap this, and bring out Teferi. Alright, y'all, and last pack of the day. Let's get it, y'all. We've got a Juggernaut, Curator's Ward, Champion of the Flame, Naru Meha, Wizard, or Master Wizard. Mythic rare at that. There is a way of doing an infinite combo with her. I'm not 100%. I don't remember 100% of it, but there was a way of doing a like an infinite combo in standard with her at the time. Whenever she enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. She's got flash. You may choose new targets for the copy, and other wizards you control get +1/+1. I think you just try to make a bunch of copies of her. Nick, not a bad stack though, dude. Not at all. That's a pretty good stack. Pretty good stack. Other than that, that is it, you guys. I appreciate y'all, and there will be no breaks until next Wednesday. I worked last Sunday, so I get this Saturday off, so you guys will not see me until next week. But other than that, I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your weekend, and until next time, you guys take care, be kind, be safe, and peace out, y'all.